Hello everyone, good night here Elohim again. This night I bring you my new friend Shannon Yrizarry. Shannon is, I have my notes here. She's a clairvoyant, a card reader. Also, she has years of experience in yoga, in Reiki, and meditation. She has written a couple of books, many books, many of them recently. They are available everywhere. If you are watching this video and you go below in the description, you can find the links to all her books. You can look for her on Instagram, Facebook, and every page of her. Shannon, how are you doing?
I am doing today fantastic. I just increased the vibration in my home yesterday, and it really, really helped my emotional state.
Great. And it's a very great day because we are having a little trouble with the schedule, but the energy is doing very well today. And we find a way to do it whatever happens. We are here recording and we are having lost in the connection over and over, and we continue here smiling because it's a very good day actually. The spring equinox was very recently, the full moon was very recently, so we are vibing in a very good moment on our life.
Yes, yes. How was your full moon, by the way?
Was great, was amazing. I had the opportunity to bring out my telescope again because during the winter you can't go out, it's impossible. I did a little ritual in home. I was doing yoga because I have a spa very close to my home and they do yoga every morning. So I try to go there. And has been a very nice time to read. I enjoyed one of your books last week, like I was telling you, and I just started the other one today and was fantastic. So to give me context about how are you feeling the energy, you can tell me where do you live and what is your favorite thing about your city?
I moved to Big Bear Lake in the mountains of Southern California in December. There's huge trees, there's animals everywhere. I'm like a quarter of a mile to the national park, and it's so calm and so peaceful. And I think my favorite thing here is how nice the people are. They're so friendly everywhere you go, which is different from many cities I've lived in or suburbs. So it feels like finally a place that I want to stay for the rest of my life, which I've never found before.
That's great. Thank you for that. Shannon, going very deep here, how did you discover yoga?
I was so depressed. I could barely get out of bed. I was dealing with narcissists and I didn't know what that was. And I'm a Cancer, so I'm very nurturing, and just getting pulled into other people's lives and trying to help was really overwhelming to me. So I went to some yoga classes, and all of a sudden I felt like this is the place where I feel the best all day. So I just would go to 3 classes a day because it was so helpful, which is a lot. But that's how I started to learn about, when the teacher would say chakra, I'm like, what the? And eventually I asked one of the Kundalini teachers, I'm looking for like a way to learn about energy. And he's like, oh, I have a mystery school, which was the start of the esoteric study.
Yeah, this is the thing with cancer. Cancer born with this amazing shield that they own, and that's why they represent the sign of family and home because they are always with their home, with themselves. Cancer have this amazing ability that wherever they go, they find the way to build a new home with new people, wherever is the place. The thing there is that to be able to create a new home, you need to have a lot of empathy with the people around you. And when you are dealing with narcissists, these people who literally lack of empathy, they absorb you, they take your strength, they take your energy, they take your time, and you're feeling like you're giving and giving and giving, and you're not receiving anything back. And every time that you feel, because they treat you in some way that make you feel like they are giving you something or you are receiving something in change, usually when we are dealing with narcissists, it's something that they will take out of your hands in any moment. Oh, I give you this, so you owe me. That's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and when you are Cancer, Cancer is one of the signs that for some reason it's like a magnet for narcissists. They just
Yes.
feel you very close and they are like, I like this energy, I want to own this energy, so they go behind you.
Yes. And empaths, any empaths are great food for a narcissist. I want to recommend anyone dealing with that a book called Freeing Yourself from the Narcissist in Your Life. It taught me so much and it helped me so much. Given to me by my grandmother, who also struggled with it. It's hereditary.
I will add that book immediately to the list. I have a whole list of recommendations about dealing with narcissists. I have
Oh,
like 12 books, so I will look for that and add it immediately.
are you a Cancer?
No, I'm Capricorn, which in some ways is very weird because Capricorn, like Cancer, have these difficulties dealing with narcissists. Capricorn has difficulties in a emotional different way. Capricorn usually deal with depression, with anxiety. And when
What was that? The
Capricorn have emotional issues, and sometimes they deal with depression and anxiety. It's very common among
one second, you're muted. I can't quite hear you, but I can't read lips either.
yeah, got it.
Oh,
We are back.
okay.
Those seconds that you lost, we were just planning here a conspiration to conquer the world. Don't worry. You are invited to be part of this.
Check.
Yeah, check. Capricorn has no emotional issues, usually reflected like depression and anxiety. When I teach about astrology, I always say that Capricorn is a sign that most of the times represent depression, because Capricorn has their foots very in the mountain, and they are, sometimes they feel everything like, oh, this is too much positive. So it's better be negative, so you are over prepared for any mistake in your life. That happens with Capricorn, and when you grow up reading that, you try to be like that or change. And I decided to change. I try to be a little more positive. Maybe to most people around me usually say that I'm toxically positive, but it's my way to be, because the world is hard, especially when you are an immigrant. It's very hard. So you can just blame everything around you and just look for the negative side, or you can look for the positive side and try to motivate others to continue growing and evolving.
Right. Right. That is a beautiful way to look at any sign, because once you learn the personality traits, you're not stuck in them. You can overcome them and become balanced.
Yeah,
And nothing is trapping you once you learn about your birth chart.
exactly. My next question here, you were talking to us about how did you discover yoga. Yoga is this practice that led you, is a, from outside is watching like a physical workout, but it's also a whole about mental workout. It's a lot about well-being, about being yourself, about embracing different parts of yourself and how express yourself. How do you can describe yoga for someone who is pretty new on this?
If you're brand new, I would say this is a little bit different than your question, but really important. Look for teachers who are calm, who teach slowly, and who usually are older. First of all, because they understand anatomy and you won't get injured as easily. But second of all, because if it's slow and calm, you'll start to feel the energy more than if it's very fast and loud music, because it puts you in a different brainwave state. So it starts to put you in this not output mode, but this very relaxed state, which is how you start to feel intuitively. So that's what I would recommend for beginners. And the older teachers are usually more versed in the energetic aspect of yoga. They're not, looking for who can do the best handstand or who has, the most sculpted abs or can do the most advanced pose. And that's what I found over many, many years. And then for beginners, the benefit of yoga. Okay, this is going to be a little deep. So when we have like 8 main physical systems in our body: endocrine, skeletal, lymphatic, muscular, well, that's muscular, skeletal, the nervous system, etc. So as you start to do yoga consistently, also digestion, those systems start to improve. All of them start to harmonize. And when your energy becomes more positive because you feel better, because all those systems are working much better, you start to understand the energy around you and understand how people are affected by what everyone else is doing. You can start to intuitively know how someone else is doing. And then you can also start to get premonitions because your intuition is starting to come in. And then, of course, after that, which is what I write about a lot, you're able to open the crown chakra and start to experience expanded states of consciousness so that you can feel a sense of peace with your spiritual self and your identity is expanded. So you're not afraid. You can also, when you expand your energy field because you feel so much better, your emotions are positive at a more consistent rate, you start to attract opportunities. People enjoy your energy and they want to be around it because it uplifts them. So the benefits also, your skin is glowing, you have more energy, you can sit without pain at work. So many benefits that are practical for day to day as well.
Got it. I have 15 years of practice in yoga.
Wow.
And this is literally the second time. I have many teachers, but this is just the second time that I listen to someone saying, look for someone who is older, who can take precautions or warnings about you being injured. It's literally the second time. Most of the times people just ignore that and they just force you to do things. The other one person before you is my friend Evan. He's a yogi here in New York. He's very popular, he's very well trained, and he always pay attention to try to make people feel comfortable in a certain level, try to put your body in certain position, but try to don't force too much because you can be injured. This is just the second time that I listen to that, and it's very important. It's weird how many people ignore that lesson. Based on this, do you write? Let me check here the name. You write this book that is psychic yoga?
Yes. Here is the picture of the cover.
It's beautiful with all the illustration of the chakras, the pose, the colors. The colors are amazing. It's like the aura manifesting from the head. Do you can tell us a little bit about this book?
When I first proposed it to the publisher, it was how yoga can increase intuition. And they said, our audience is actually more interested in psychic development. So let's switch it to psychic yoga so that people know, hey, this type, yoga in general is actually increasing psychic abilities, because that's not usually how it's presented to people. They're more thinking that it's a workout. So because I did, professional clairvoyant work, we thought that this would be a great hybrid for people to understand yoga in a different way, because that's what I experienced. I was, experiencing all these synchronicities and premonitions, and it was from yoga. And that really empowers you to know who to let into your life, because you get a feel for them. It empowers you to use your gut to choose which job to take before you accept it. You get this feeling, so you know if it's best for you. Even if it pays a lot of money, you can get that gut feeling and just say no. And even when it comes to moving, where we live is very important. You get this gut feeling of, I don't know why, but I have to move here. All of those things are really big life decisions. Who to date, who to be friends with, who you can trust. So, we wanted to present this book not in a aggressive, like, get this advanced pose, which like Light on Yoga by Iyengar is so many advanced poses, and you try to work towards them. It does say the emotional benefits, but it's hard, and this one is soft. So each pose is about softening and about listening to your body and slowing down and coming into your body to start to feel what's going on in there. And teaching people to relax in yoga and start to feel is not what you'll usually get in a class. So each chapter that covers the chakras helps people to start to tune into the energy you feel in each chakra, which actually allows you to, when you sit in front of someone, to feel their chakras and know what's wrong with them and where they can improve in their life, which is really, really helpful for friends and family, even if you're not doing it professionally. All of a sudden you sit in front of someone and your throat is like, oh, what are you not communicating? You need to say and speak your truth. And so that's, the angle I took on this book. And it's like developing superpowers.
That's great. I was reading your recent book, also moving up, that is a little similar, but I think that is a little more esoteric, more about the energy, about perception. It's a very good book. I was following for years ago the Sat Nam movement via Instagram and Facebook, and I'm a follower of the Wahe Guru Fest, that is the festival of gurus in Europe. They teach a lot about Kundalini Yoga, and now you have the brother or sister of your past book, that is Kundalini Energy, Activate Your Power for Enlightenment. Again, amazing colors in the cover, very you. I was actually reading this book this morning when we were talking. You have, when I did the first review of the book via Instagram, I was talking to people about, they have the illustration of the Kundalini, the serpent. They have many poses here. She talks about the chakras. She talks about the energy. She talks about how are you putting your energy in yourself with healthy food, with these kind of things, about the things that you are told, that you are thinking about. It's more about being conscious in your practice.
Oh,
I listen to you. I listen to you. I listen to you.
There you
Uh,
are.
I was saying here horrible things about you, horrible, the worst things that you can imagine about you.
Well, with my yoga practice, I actually, have this shield around me. So if you yell in my face insults, all I think is, wow, you're really upset right now. That's probably not fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That works. That works. I did something similar a couple of times. When people is mad and you say to them, so you are mad about this, it's worse for them. But you are like, I don't know why you are mad. I really don't understand why you are mad. Please explain to me because I can be in your foot. I literally can't be. So I was talking about your book about Kundalini Yoga. How was the process for this book? Because you are coming from psychic yoga. How you move from that book to this one? Because here you take a deepest history on yoga, a deepest development. You talk here about the Kundalini energy, about the chakras again. You talk about being conscious in your practice. How was this process for you?
So this, if you started with this book, you would start to, like I said, harmonize the physical systems in the body to start to feel the energy in your body. And these are more hatha yoga poses. Not There's some Kundalini short exercises in here that are introducing breath work and introducing just a little bit of, we have fists of anger, which start to give you the idea that there is movements that are specific to certain things you want, and they are a little more involved and more interested in angles and positions of your body and more focused on the body locks. So the awareness of your body really helps to go into the Kundalini book, because the Kundalini book is more about expansion of consciousness and more about how the world has been doing this since the beginning of time with different ways to explain it. And once we understand that, we start to see other people as in compassion and also as seeking the same thing, no matter where they are on their path. Some souls are here to learn just a few lessons like kindness, forgiveness. And some souls are here to awaken masses of people. And no matter where they are on their path, when you start to do Kundalini yoga, you see things with love and you start to feel where they are and have so much empathy for them, even if part of them is really an asshole. Right? And so this book works in more advanced ways, but it's not about difficulty. It's about feeling joy and bliss every time you practice. And it doesn't have to be laborious. It doesn't have to be difficult in your mind. Sometimes when you go to a yoga class, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. Can I do this? Do I have the energy? When you go to a Kundalini or you do Kundalini at home, it gives you so much energy and you feel so much positivity. And it's not difficult. It's friendly. You can show up in jeans. You can wear whatever. Baggy clothes. Nobody is judging you or looking at you, which is great. Like when you advance, it gets easier.
Got it. Just for fact, for everyone watching here, if you don't have the book yet, what she's saying, everything is true, because this morning before the talk with her, this morning, this is a story. I was out looking for the mail, waiting for the mail outside, and I just take this picture and share it. I have this schedule in my phone that should tell me 1 hour before of the interview, like an alarm. I share the picture. I totally forget that the recording was today. That was one of the scheduling problems that we have, because the alarm should tell me 1 hour before. Like 2 hours before of that, I shared the picture because I literally was reading this book today in the morning. I share a picture on my Instagram, you respond me, and then like, oh yeah, I had a recording with you in 2 hours. And after that, many things happens in both sides. But we are here, that's the good thing. I was saying that it's true that you are saying, because this morning when I was reading the book, I was putting in practice the meditation to remove the ancestral karma. Is 31 minutes for everybody. So she explains in the book how you can do all of this exercise from your home. She has the mantras, she has the information, the history, and she talks a lot in a way that you can easily understand. You don't need to be a professional yogi. You can understand the book very easily, because I have years of practice, but I never read books on yoga. I just go to the classes, I just assist. People talk to me, I try to memorize, but I never read a book on yoga before this one.
It can be expensive to go to classes, you know, and
yeah,
to have a book that explains something for each purpose of removing ancestral karma, manifesting abundance, and to know that they actually work because people have experienced that. It's a great way to amplify your life. And you probably won't find that in a yoga class unless you find this kind of teacher.
Okay, give me a second, people. We are going to take just a second here because I have the email here in my door. Let me pause the recording for a moment. We are back. I have a bunch of new books here that I need to read, people. So we continue recording with my friend. Shannon, we pass for your 2 books. Now I have, before to go to your next one, I need to make this very important question. Because I know that these past books were under certain outside influence of everything that was happening around. How was 2020 for you? How was these past 2 years for you?
This may be surprising. I was bedridden, and I didn't know if it would ever go away. And it was probably the most difficult time I've ever had. And I was isolated. I was in Portland where there's no sun. And I think the part that pulled me through was knowing that this book, actually I wrote a few during that time, that even if they helped one person transform their life, it would be worth writing every day. So I would go to a coffee shop before we had to wear the masks and before we were confined to the home. And I would sit there and write 1,000 words, and then my back would give out and I'd go home and lay down for the rest of the day. And then it got so bad that I just had to literally be almost laying down for 2020 and 2021. And somehow I asked for, you know, the higher consciousness, the sages, the saints, and the ascended masters. I said, please help me have the words that will help people at this time, because my physical body is not really functioning, but I need the words to help people. And instead of teaching yoga to, you know, 5 to 20 people in a class, these books are going to be around forever, unless they go out of print.
That will not happen. That will not happen because they are amazing books. This takes me to your next book, because I find a lot of spirituality here, a lot about, you practically throw your whole mind here. I read the whole book in 1 week. I am a very fast reader. I read super fast because I take special classes to read fast. That's the truth. And you made this book, Modern Guide to Meditation Beads. I am a fan of the beads. I have a lot of necklaces with beads. I have all my bracelets, and for me, this it's not jewelry. It's a lot about praying, about meditate, about fighting anxiety. If you are in a bus or if you are in the line or the doctor waiting for something, you can do this. This is super relaxing. Also, if you know how to pray the Japamala, this is super helpful because you are doing something very productive with your time. how was the process for you writing this book? Because this book is now in the market, it's practically new in the market. How was this process for you?
I did a lot of research for this one, unlike the first one where I already knew most of it. And in my research, it was so inspiring to learn the history of beads used in all different cultures to find peace, to find a sense of spirituality, and to find new neural pathways in the brain. So all over the world, these beads have been used by people, and I didn't know that. So the rosary came from the Buddhist beads, which were seeds, which were, so anyone that was too poor to leave and study in a monastery used these beads that were free to do their mantras and to find peace if they were a farmer. And that was so long ago, and it influenced the rosary. And then in Africa, they've used beads for a long time, and it's always been a sacred practice. And it doesn't matter what religion it is or what spiritual system it is. So it brings us together to see that across time and across cultures, this has helped people. And no matter what words are used, the intention creates peace, and it helps you to manifest emotional states. If you use, like you're saying, I am calm, or using a mantra that invokes compassion, like Om Mani Padme Om. I don't know if I said that right, but it brings people together, which
Do
is
you
what
mean
I
the
also,
Omnipaneum?
yeah, that's in the book. And there's different mantras and affirmations in the book from different languages and in English. This book inspired me with the way to write the Kundalini energy book, because it's all these cultures doing something so similar. So we don't have to say, oh, this is the best way, or this is the best way, which people really get into, and then it creates division. And also the intention can show people how empowered they are with their own mind to create new ways of thinking, like confidence, leadership skills, spiritual abilities. You know, like you could use it to develop mediumship if you only had clairvoyance, because you start to focus on it.
Yes, in the book you add meditations, prayings, a whole collection of beautiful mantras, different exercise, information about astrological sciences, a lot of information here in a very tiny book, but it's very well charged with information. In the moment that I received this box of books, this was the first one that I choose. I need to read this one immediately, because all my life sorry, I have been fan of the beats in all presentations. Actually, when you come to New York City in any moment, it's two things that we need to do. The first one is take classes of yoga together, because it's a bunch of free options to take yoga here in New York City, and those places are amazing. The second is, I don't remember the name in this moment, but this is magnificent store in Manhattan. I think that is in Upper West Side. It's a whole store, very big, bigger than my apartment, that just specializes in beads, just on that.
Wow.
Yes,
That's so important,
yes,
because
it's
the
great.
resonance of the woods, the types of woods, the resonance of the types of crystals, the energy that's stored in that power object, so important. And people, you know, to store that vibration, or to get a certain vibration, to have that variety of beads, or make a necklace with a certain intention, amplifies that intention so much. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, this is your space. We need to go there. Something very magical happens in that place. When I was there, but I going to tell you that story privately. But was something that when I was there, I was like, wow, this place have a lot of energy. But it's something that I'm going to don't say it publicly. My next question here, let me move here. How often do you meditate?
Twice a day at least. First thing in the morning, I wake up at 4:30 usually now and sit for at least 2 hours and listen, and write down what comes. Sometimes I use tarot, but mostly I start with a chakra meditation to access the upper chakras or to activate the chakras that I feel are not balanced, and strengthen those with visualization. And because I'm disabled, I can't do most Kundalini yoga because where my spinal cord is damaged, it's attached to the diaphragm. So it's painful to do breathing exercises or to move my arms or to do twisting. So I had to find that yoga is more than the movements. The mantras are energy. You can listen to them. You can think them mentally. It's moving energy. And then yoga is about uniting with expanded states of consciousness. And so my practice has become union, which is the meaning of yoga. And I was very insecure about writing books on yoga, but being disabled and being unable to do them. And then I realized that even being disabled, you can do yoga. You have to do your own version of it. And it's still so peaceful and it's so helpful. It just sets the mood for the day and keeps the intuition strong, hopefully. And you know, if you start your day in a peaceful place and you end your day in a peaceful place, it really makes a difference.
Got it. I have, this is a, how I can say, this is a tricky question. I give you for one day the power to do travel time, and you can do 2 travels. The first one is to the past. Everybody's calling, everybody's knocking doors now. I mean,
The
you don't
energy's
go
high.
to feel our energy. You don't go to do it. You can travel to around the time. You go to travel to 15 years in the past, and you go to travel 15 years in the future.
Yeah.
When you travel to the past, which advice do you would like to give to yourself? When you travel to the future, how do you like to see yourself?
The past is easy. So that when I was 20, 15 years ago, I was a mess. I was in the, you know, insecure, going to clubs in New York City. And, you know, I was so depressed because of trying to seek happiness outside of myself. I would tell myself in that time to seek a spiritual teacher and to dive into energy healing and spiritual teaching, because it would have avoided a decade of messy living. And 15 years later, see, 45, 50, I told my dog she has to live until I'm 50. I want to be so focused on physically, tangibly helping with real problems in the world without any need for people to know about it, but just being completely focused on something that will alleviate suffering in the real world, because all of these systems, these spiritual systems, eventually point us back to service, to humble service. And so that's where I would like to see myself, and not focused on reaching 1 million people, not focused on my brand. Yes, that's the answer.
That happens. I understand you. My college or my studying was on marketing and advertising, and I have been dealing with this with many clients in many opportunities in many agencies in 3 different countries. People is trying to really focus in the service, but sometimes when you are trying to do the service, branding turns in something important in the society, and it's very complicated because you want to do something just for the service to do it, but at the same time, if you don't brand yourself, it's very complicated to receive the tools or the support to manifest that what you are trying to do. It's very complicated because I have many clients doing that kind of things. Is for example, in my personal scenario, I do these sew-ups to sell with oils and stuff. Every time that I do these sew-ups, a lot of people ask me to do more. So I do 200, 300. People like the formula. And one time in 2018, here in New York City, a factory in Staten Island offered me some money and the opportunity to commercialize the brand. And I say no, because the thing about my sew-ups is that I made them in my home with my hands for myself. So if I turn this in a whole big branding, this will not be magical, no will be the same energy. It's just something more plastic made in a factory. I know it's a lot of money that I can use, but it's not really something that I want to do. And that was after graduate of the college. That was the first time that I find myself in the feeds or my clients, because many times I am the publicist just saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, but I never was in that position before of that. When it was my own product and I decided, no, I don't want to brand this. I just made 200 swaps at months and I just sell that, and if you want more, sorry, I just have 2 hands, I can do more. So I totally understand you here.
That's such a beautiful story, because you used your intuition to make that decision instead of your ego. And that's so beautiful, because it kept you feeling like you're living in your heart from your core of your spiritual self. And your intention was stronger than your need for attention.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things that I really enjoy on your books, because I read many books, but I don't invite everyone to record with me for many reasons. And sometimes you really connect with the people and you really want to bring more connection. When I was reading your books, I find myself 3, maybe 4 years ago, when I was writing Manifestation Magic, my own book. The moment to propose this book to the publisher was very complicated, because it was a book on money magic for witches. That was like the branding of the book. It's money magic for witches, and for them was very complicated. And when I read your books, I feel that level of honesty. My book ends being self-advertising here, people. My book ends being very, very small. You lost me, right?
No, I'm here.
Okay. My book ends being very, very slow, very small, because I try to put out everything that was too much commercial, too much advertising. I just try to focus in the spirit of the book. And in the end, the book was super small, but it's my book. Sorry. And I really like it. And when I was reading your books, I find that same energy. Okay, she's honest. She's talking about her practice. She's saying in the book how she do things, how she learn things. Why is this important? How you can adapt this practice to yourself? How you can adapt? How you can take the meditation and adapt to yourself? How you can take the yoga and adapt to yourself? And that was really beautiful in your books. I don't have literally more questions for you, Now, is something else that you want to share with your readers, with your viewers, with your followers?
Just taking a second to think about it, or to.
All the seconds that you want.
Come here, Frankie. Come here, honey. I think what I tried to convey when I was teaching Kundalini yoga was not to feel forced to follow someone, and to use and develop your intuition so you can be your own guide. And the spiritual community is starting to move away from the idea that you find one teacher and you follow them for the rest of your life, and moving into, if you have a teacher that you resonate with and they empower you to choose what is best for your life without having to ask someone else, that's going to be the most valuable thing you have for the rest of your life. So you might not stay with that teacher beyond learning that, and that's okay. And using your intuition to find what spiritual system is going to work for you, or like you said, what book you're drawn to, is more important than what anyone tells you at the store. It's more important than what you read in a book, that this is the thing, you have to do this. So let your intuition guide your spiritual development, and you'll find that is going to be the most fun.
Got it. Everyone, this was my conversation with Shannon. Shannon is the author of Psychic Yoga, I continue forgetting the name, Kundalini Energy, and Modern Guide to Meditation Beats. Here, two of her most recent books. You can find them off paperback, also in Kindle. You can find them in your favorite bookstore, online bookstores, physical bookstores, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, wherever you find books, wherever you look for books. All her links are below this video in the description. Thank you, Shannon, for your time. It has been amazing. People can't imagine the level of complications that we had today for both sides in both cities, but we did the video. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And anyone can reach out to me anytime.
Got it. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. And remember, share the video, like the video, and look for my friend on her social media accounts. Bye.